Yo, what up? Welcome to Three Count Commentaries. It's your boy Mongo Slade, and today we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite from February the 17th, 2021. So, match one, Hangman Page and Matt Hardy defeat the Hybrid 2 in what was quite frankly one of the sloppiest matches in history. And to be quite honest, things continued to be sloppy all night. These high flyers, quote unquote, they botched all night long. I mean, we'd be here all night for me to go through all the botches that these guys went through. But let's just talk about one of them. Jack Evans completely missed a Phoenix Splash. He missed it so completely that it was almost as if he wasn't even going for it in the first place. It was almost as if the person was supposed to move. He was so far off that I thought the motherfucker was going to jump outside the ring. It was insane how off he was. And he wasn't the only one. He was not the only one. Let's just get through this as quickly as possible. There was a double buckshot lariat. Again, I still hate the buckshot lariat. Whatever. I'm not going to die on that hill. And Matt Hardy wins. I think he pinned Angelico with the Twist of Fate. So now we get to the exchanging of the papers part. So Hardy is bragging about how they're both going to make a lot of money, and how he's going to get 30%. And then Hangman Page is like, well, you didn't read that contract, did you? And then Matt was like, no, I sent it straight to the lawyer. And then they asked for somebody to come out, somebody from the Jaguars legal team to bring the papers out. So here comes the fucking Jaguars mascot. And I was like, okay. So the Jaguars mascot is out there, delivers the papers, gives the papers to Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy reads the papers and very calmly is like, oh no, this is not the paperwork I gave you. This is for a match. This says that Matt Hardy versus Adam Page at Revolution. And if you beat me, you get 100% of my first quarter earnings in the year 2021. Oh no, I can't believe you out-carnied me. I was like, is that Jesus, man? Where was the emotion in this? There was no shock. There was no real surprise. It was like, you out-carnied me. How could you do this? How could you do this? And I'm like, if you would think that you have to have a match where you're not going to get paid for 4 months, you would probably act an ass. I'm talking like Ric Flair, busting your own self across the head, trying to tear his throat out his, out his neck, all kind of stuff. Like, and they're sitting there just standing there. Oh no, I can't believe you out-carnied me. And then the stupidity continues. So Matt Hardy's like, well, how about we raise the stakes and you put your first quarter earnings on the line? And Adam Page is like, okay. And I'm like, why? He already signed the contract where his stuff is on the line and yours isn't. So why do you put yours up? For what reason? I get. Look, even see. Here's the thing: you could be a hero, right? Heroic, and not be dumb, right? The dumb hero is kind of annoying. Like we already been established here that Hangman Adam Page is smarter than Matt Hardy. Right, so he outsmarted Matt Hardy, and slipped some fresh papers in this stack of papers, and Matt was just too stupid to look it up. He was too arrogant to read what he had signed. So, okay, he got over on Matt. Matt really should have acted an ass, acted stupid, and then started trying to come up with a way to win this match immediately. And it's okay with him to posit the idea, to put forth that idea and say, oh yeah, you should put your earnings on the line too. And then Heyman should just be like, but I don't have to. You already signed the contract and I'll fight you either way, But they have several weeks for Matt to convince Hangman Page to put his earnings on the line. So that's what you could have done to create drama, is to say, all right, Matt's behind the 8 ball on this one. How is he going to get Hangman Page to put his earnings on the line? Or how is he going to find a way to beat him so that he gets paid for 4 months? Because now he's got to explain to Rebby how he don't get paid for 4 months, right? And then that could have been an interesting story too, where like Matt was on the phone with his wife, like, baby, don't worry about it. I am going to beat Hangman Page, and trying to explain how he's going to beat him. Because I think Rebby is pregnant. Like, you could have really have brought all of that in. Like, Matt's not going to get paid for 4 months and his wife is pregnant, and maybe you do that. Maybe that's how you appeal to Adam Page. You had Matt say, my wife is pregnant. I need my paychecks. I need you to, do yada, yada, yada. And then maybe you do, Adam Page says, okay, I will let you out of this contract, but you have to let Private Party out of their contract. Put him behind the 8 ball, build some drama with this, right? Or do something horrible to the guy, like, bust him in the kneecap with a pipe or something like that and piss him off and make him want to do something drastic, like put his earnings on the line. But just asking him and him like, okay, what the fuck? Like you had the match, you had the stipulation that you wanted. You didn't have to go any further than that. Like, it wasn't like Matt had you had to do that in order to get Matt to sign the contracts. Matt already signed it. So, whatever. So we find out that Isaiah Cassidy is the mascot. So Isaiah Cassidy, who was out there dressed as the mascot the whole time, was the one that delivered the bad news to Matt Hardy. And I just shook my head. So then Matt Hardy was then Isaiah Cassidy had jumped Hangman Page from behind, and then Matt Hardy says he was going to pay the hybrid to $3,700 to beat up Hangman Page. Now I actually like that part because it's a random amount of money, right? $3,700. That's $3,700. That's these guys. These guys got to be making more than that. Like, and that was a very random, very comedic amount of money. But I didn't mind because Matt Hardy's supposed to be this, big money Matt. I guess he's throwing money around. Okay, he's going to pay somebody $3,700 to beat up Hangman Page for him. And then Brody Jr. sends out all of the members of the Dark Order. I'm like, they got this kid out here again. And all the members of the Dark Order come out and save Matt Hardy, or save Hangman Page rather. And it's like 400 members of the Dark Order. So all the heels start to bail. And obviously Hangman Page is in the ring with his friends, the Dark Order. But he's not officially with them or not. They're still doing the will he, won't he with the Dark Order. But I just can't believe that Hangman Page put all of his money on the line when he didn't have to. It didn't make sense. Whatever. So then we get Santana and Ortiz excited about their first tag team title match and talking about how much they need to earn respect, and they've been in this company 18 months, and but they were very quickly overshadowed by MJF, who wanted to yell at Sammy Guevara. And this is where AEW tried their best to shine that turd that they put out, that video. Oh, Sammy Guevara, you think I was really secretly recording you when there was really a camera in the room? What are you, stupid? I'm just sitting here like, It took for, 4,000 people to tweet about it and talk about it on their podcasts and all this type of stuff for AEW to see it, and then they factored it into the next week. And then, of course, Jericho did the same thing. Oh, I watch Dynamite. I watch Dynamite every week. Everyone does. Of course I seen it. Of course I knew. But, and of course he had to pivot because Sammy Guevara is already gone. So now he has to pivot and find some way to justify Sammy Guevara being gone. So he says, well, look, it's your fault for goading Sammy. I wanted you guys to be friends, but it's Sammy Guevara's fault because he walked out on me. And if you turn your back on the Inner Circle, you turn your back on me, you're dead to me, Sammy. And I was like, okay, decent save. It was a decent save. The only reason they even put this segment out there is because so many people noticed the logic fail. They trying to plug up storyline holes. WWE doesn't give a fuck. They just let it slide. They be like, fuck it, who cares? AEW is so worried about what people think on Twitter and shit, and what people say in their podcast, that they're like, well, we got to fill that hole up. It's like it doesn't really fix it. If anything, it draws more attention to it, you know, because it's like, whoops, we wasn't paying attention. And then they did a complete angle around it where you had MJF doing the taped up ribs and, you know, like, okay. But I'm going to let you off the line on this one because this one is so minute in comparison to all the other horse shit that AEW pulls out, especially the horse shit. I cannot wait to talk about it. Matter of fact, I'm not going to get right to it because I think it was something before that. So this was the best match of the night. Serena Deeb versus Riho. Now, this match was very fucking good. It wasn't as sloppy as some of the other matches. This match was tight. Serena Deeb led the shit out of this match. It was physical. Riho showed some fire. I was actually impressed with this match. I like this match. I have no real problems. I have no real problems with this match. It was fucking good, you know. I will say the women's tournament though was a huge flop because I saw somebody was like, well, if you're giving AEW grief about their women's division and you're not watching the women's tournament, then you're not being serious. You were just talking crap about the company. And I said basically like them hiding the women on YouTube is not fixing the problem. Okay. You know, all of you hired all these women. And then you talked about how you wanted all these women to be stars and everything. You don't put them on your TV, right? You don't feature them on the show. There's going to be people like me who are not going to hunt down these matches on YouTube. It's just not going to happen. You're so like, yeah, we could talk about we could do the whataboutism because WWE did like some women's Dusty Cut matches and some men's Dusty Cut matches on 205 Live. Sure, but we're not talking about them. We're talking about this particular tournament. It's not even the first time they did it because they did the women's tag team tournament almost completely on YouTube as well. They have a knack for when you get on them about the women's division, which sometimes people do. They decide, tournament, okay, tournament. And then they'll throw all of the fucking matches on YouTube. And it won't, you'll be like, okay. So out of this whole potentially 16 matches in the first round, 8 matches on the first round, you're probably going to see 2. And then you're going to get the semifinals. That's it. That's pretty much it. And then I think the finals probably be at Revolution, right? So, well, yeah, probably be at Revolution or the week before or something like that. You can't be serious, bro. That's not a fucking tournament. Nobody sees the tournament if that's the case. Why would you keep showing this big ass bracket to people who are watching on TV and then say, go to our YouTube channel to see the matches? It's like, what's wrong with all this TV you got here? You know, use it. And the thing is, it's straight up latent misogyny. Because we know what it is. See, most people don't have the balls to say it. But I'm going to say it. They're worried about their ratings. They're worried if they put some of these unknown women on this show, people will change the channel to NXT. NXT does it anyway. They don't give a fuck. You know, NXT will put the most trash women wrestlers out there because they're like, hey, we're basically still a wrestling school. Like, I know things are changing slowly but surely, and eventually it's not going to be a wrestling school anymore, but it's still pretty much a wrestling school, so we're just going to throw the women out there. And if they fuck up, then so what? You know? But AEW is like, nope, we got to hide ours. You know, some of these women are not ready. So we hired them, then we touted how good they were and how great they were. Every signing was one of the best signings. Everybody is doing so much better. I kept hearing about how great Tainara Conti is now. Like, oh, she's so much better. It's like, but you're not putting her on TV. You're hiding her on YouTube. Like, you're not going to put her out there. Like, you're so proud of Nyla Rose. You're not going to put her on TV. You know? So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm just going to call it what it is. You know, you people are fake. You're worried about your ratings. You know, you don't have the time for it. Just say you don't have the time for it. People will appreciate more honesty more than anything. You know, so I mean, it is what it is. You know, that's up to you. I don't really care. You know, like I said, I'll watch whatever you put on the screen as long as it's good. I don't care what it is. Other than midgets or intergender stuff, I'm not interested in that. So I'm definitely gonna skip that Nyla Rose shit. I'm just saying, you should have had no problem putting Nyla on TV before. Now all of a sudden you want to hide. No, come on. Just be honest. You're still trying to fight this ratings war shit. So you're trying to load this show up with as many stars as you can because you're scared of losing a single week to NXT. But NXT doesn't give a fuck. They give Candice LeRae a 20-minute match every fucking week. They basically just hand you the wins on a silver platter. They don't give a shit. That just goes to show that, different mentalities, different philosophies. And WWE did not go around touting how progressive they were and how, they were going. Well, they're starting to do it now as far as best women's division in the world and all that bullshit. But they didn't do that stuff. AEW did do it. And that's why I'm holding them so accountable for the shit that they said, because they're the ones who cultivated this fan base. Nobody asked you for this shit. You could have just said, hey, maybe one day we'll be able to do a women's division or we'll have women's matches on our dark show, but we don't have, we just can't support a women's division right now. And people would have respected it. Look at what Ring of Honor did it. Ring of Honor was like, look, we cannot support a women's division. And this was after they tried to support a women's division and they got busted, when people found out they couldn't. They couldn't afford to pay and all that type of shit. And so, they just said, fuck it, we dropped it. And, they still got women training. They still got women under the roster, but they just don't use them. They're trying to wait for the right time. They're building towards it, because they tried it right out of the gate and they botched it. And AEW has been botching this women's division from the jump, But let's move on, because I want to talk about something that's 100% more fun. They was talking about Jade Cargill and Shaq and about their training montage that we were going to see. And I'm like, this ought to be fun. They're going to see Shaq maybe in the gym hitting the iron, Shaq, with some boxing gloves or something, Shaq doing MMA. It ought to be entertaining for that. What did we get? We got Shaq sitting behind a desk while Jade Cargill ran suicides. Shaq sitting behind a desk while Jade Cargill shot free throws. Shaq passing her the ball so she can do layups. And basically Shaq being a coach to Jade Cargill. And I said to myself, are they going to wrestle, or is this going to be a pickup game of 2-on-2? Is this going to be are they playing 21, or is this like a WNBA game? Because I thought this was a wrestling match. And I didn't see no wrestling in this. I didn't see anything pertaining to wrestling in this. I didn't see a headlock. I didn't see a drop toe hold. I didn't see an eye poke. I didn't see an arm twister, a hammer lock, or anything else. I didn't see a motherfucker draw a drop kick. He ain't touched not one weight. I didn't hear him about going on a diet. I didn't hear anything about fucking Shaq getting in shape for this match. You lied. You lied to me. I feel lied too. You're full of shit. This was garbage. Okay, this was garbage. I don't care about Superwoman Jade playing basketball in an empty fucking gym. I don't care. I don't care about this. I don't care about this. Wrong sport. Try it again. Who thought this was smart? Oh yeah, we're going to book you for a wrestling match, but your warm-ups are going to be basketball. How does that correlate? It doesn't. So not only we've seen Jade Cargill do powerlifting, and we've seen Jade Cargill do basketball. What next? The bitch gonna be playing golf? She gonna be out here playing tennis like she's Serena Williams? I mean, what's next? Water polo? Volleyball? Bowling? Anything except fucking wrestling, huh? She's not gonna pick up a glove, a bat, or anything. She's not gonna get in a cage, wear those little small gloves with the fingers poking out of them. Nothing. We're not going to do anything remotely wrestling or mixed martial arts or kickboxing or anything where she could throw a punch, a strike, take somebody down, poke somebody in the fucking eyes or anything. She's going to play fucking sports. They're trying to turn this broad into Mr. Perfect. It's not going to work. Wrong sport. Okay? When we were told about Mr. Perfect, we were told that he's perfect at everything. This is a wrestling match. Okay? Shaquille O'Neal, basketball player, is going to be in a wrestling match. I want to see Shaquille O'Neal training for this wrestling match. And you could do 100% cool things with Shaq just being Shaq and training for a wrestling match. Like, imagine how funny it would have been if they did like what WWE did with Vince McMahon training for his match with Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? Or he's chasing the chickens and he's hitting like cold meat and stuff like that. You could like that shit could have been super fun with like Shaq in a slaughterhouse with some big gloves on or with some tape fists and him hitting like a side of beef, you know, talking about yeah, what's up, Cupcake Cody? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, you like that? But he'll show you the black tornado again and do the bullshit black tornado. It'd have been funny at least. But Shaq shooting free throws is not making me more excited to see a wrestling match. God damn. God damn. Shit. They trying to win they trying to win a horse race with a horse with 3 legs. This is trash. This is trash. Speaking of trash, Orange Cassidy versus Luther was the next match. What is the combined age of this match? I'm glad you asked. It's over 80. Because most of this motherfucker is 50, Luther. And Orange Cassidy damn near 40. And guess what else? Serpentico is also 36. Serpentico and Orange Cassidy could have went to school together. And both of these, I was about to call him something else. Both of these guys are basically like old enough to be Luther's children. Yes. This is weird. And this sucked. Only thing I can say is thank God it was short. You know, thank God it was short. So let's see what we got here. We got Serpentico. He jumped out of the ring onto Chuck Taylor for reasons unknown. He just did it. Luther strangled Orange Cassidy with his own shirt, spun him around, and threw him outside of the ring. That's a perfect way to treat a top guy, by the way, is to have some underneath nobody, pudgy blob of a man, choke him with his own shirt, spin him around, and throw him. That's a perfect way for you to showcase a top guy. Then Serpentico was about to attack Orange Cassidy from behind. Chuck Taylor gets back into the ring, gives him some silly power driver move. And then Orange Cassidy just hits Luther with a Superman punch and pins him. And I thought to myself, great. Great job. Where's Miro? By the way, where is Miro? Where did he go? Is he still chained up? Is he chained to the other ring post still? Or what? Why was he not there? You know, you have to explain why he wasn't there. Was it the snow? Because I know a lot of people weren't there because of snow. Then they probably should say that. Just say, well, they should be thankful there's snow and Miro's not here. Jesus, bro. Jesus. This was bad. This is grade A bad. Stamp it. Bad. Then we get Team Taz. Taz, Hook, and Cage comes out there. Now, they actually explain why Hobbs and Starks aren't there. They aren't there because the snow. Snow in the South. So Taz wants Sting to come out there and say, this is your best shot. There's only 3 of us. Sting appears to confront him with the bat. Taz is like, okay, without that, you got the bat. So what? All right, you got the bat. You always got the bat. It's all right, so you got the bat. Why don't you put the bat down? You know, so Sting is stupid, apparently. He just puts the bat down. Takes his coat off. Actually gets physical. He hits Cage a couple of times. He actually backs Cage down. Hook has to attack him from behind. Hook grabs the bat, puts the bat around Sting's neck. Sting fights the kid off. Then Sting gets grabbed and power bombed by Brian Cage. And I was like, ooh. Still could have had Cage just beat up Sting. You know, I know they had him powerbomb Sting, but 60-year-old Sting beat up Brian Cage. And then he needed Hook to save him. Look, if this would not be, that would not be a problem if Sting was not 60, right? If Sting was, let's say, 42, right? Then Cage is 36. So then it would have been more believable for, you know, Sting to give Cage a hard time. But Sting is 60, right? You had you had Brian Cage, who is, again, they keep saying this guy's a monster. Nobody's stronger than Brian Cage. There's an actual quote from the show. Keep saying nobody's stronger than Brian Cage. He's a meat castle. Look at him. Look at how fantabulous this guy is. He's amazing. He needed help to beat up a 60-year-old man. He shouldn't need help. He should have been like, throw a gut punch. Boom, right in the rib cage. You know, not too hard, obviously, but it would have looked great from the size of Brian Cage's arms if he'd just nailed Sting right in the belly, took him off, and then that led to the powerbomb. And Hook just kind of stood there and watched, like he didn't need to interfere. Taz didn't need to interfere. You know, like Cage got this handled. Like if it was Cage and Sting one-on-one, Sting wouldn't stand a chance. You know, like that's the visual you should want. I mean, I'm glad. Don't get me wrong. I'm still glad that they did something with Brian Cage that made him look good, finally. But they kind of pissed on it too, because he needed the help of Hook to do it. So, but I'm not going to give him too much shit about this again because there was so much other shit on this show. So Eddie Kingston said that he was the one that asked for this match, and so he's got to throw with his 3 demons. So he's talked about what his problems with all 3 of these guys, Moxley, Archer, and Phoenix. So then he talks about Moxley. So Moxley is a situation that's different from the others. He says, I can't get rid of it with pills. I can't get rid of it with alcohol. I can't get rid of it with women. I just got to beat him. And I thought, like, okay, that made him feel real important. You know, Eddie Kingston did a good job here of making this match feel important. Like he just has this obsession with beating Jon Moxley. So then we get Kenny Omega is in a school with children. And I'm thinking to myself, what school is he in? Because a lot of these schools are now doing remote learning. So there's not a lot of students in classrooms right now. So I was thinking to myself, like, what school are they at? Anyway, he was reading stories. He was reading from the Young Bucks biography. Then Alex Marvez, who of course just follows Kenny Omega everywhere he goes, barges into the classroom. He gets shooed out. So the kids start asking questions about the book. It's the Young Bucks autobiography or whatever. And the book, he asked, oh, did the book have pictures? And Kenny Omega like, oh, I'm pretty sure there's some pictures. Here's one picture. It's the cover. And then somebody says, are they in love? And Kenny Omega is like, they're brothers, so maybe they love each other. I'm like, oh, this is weird. This is weird. You know, this is really weird. They're trying to do Kindergarten Cop, I guess. And that would have been interesting if Kenny Omega had a personality. And this, of course, just goes into Kenny Omega's thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I don't know where that comes from. Like, Terminator, I get, because most guys like Terminator, and I guess even the sissy slap fight guy would like Terminator. But hell, I don't even mind Kindergarten Cop. It's not that bad. It's what would I rank Kindergarten Cop as far as my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? Probably 6th, because it'll probably be Terminator number 1, obviously. Terminator 2, number 2. You can even switch those two. And of course, I love Predator as well. Predator is great. Total Recall, awesome. I love Total Recall. Let's see, Conan the Barbarian. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I said Predator already, didn't I? So yeah, and I think so. Yeah, maybe 5th or 6th. Kindergarten Cop. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I fucks with him. He can't act for shit, but I like Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Wait a minute, how did I get on that subject? What was that? Okay, here's what I was talking about. I'm sorry. So, this guy started talking about reading him and Chris Jericho drawing at the Tokyo Dome about how business improved because he wrestled Jericho at the Tokyo Dome. And of course, Kenny Omega says, that's because of me. That's because of me. It's like, no, it's because of Jericho. Sorry. Anyway, Don Callis was like, that's it. That's enough. And pulled him out. But the kids want to play with Kenny Omega. And the kids are like, can you play with us? And they offered to get the kids to play with Nakazawa. But the kids hate Nakazawa, and they jump him and cover him in toys and all that kind of stuff. And if Kenny Omega had not wrestled a child, I would say this would have been cute. At least that part. But knowing that Kenny Omega actually would wrestle children, because he's done it, I just was like, this is weird. He came across real creepy. Anyway. Santana and Ortiz versus the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Early in the match, the Inner Circle got ejected. This match was mostly fine. But here's the thing. I saw the Young Bucks' parents, and I said, why do their parents look like the Rock and Roll Express? Like, their parents look almost like, I wasn't paying attention, because that's what I thought it was. Like, I was sitting there, I'm like, who are they hugging? And I see them hug people, and I'm like, oh, the Rock and Roll Express are here again? And then they say, it's the Young Bucks' parents. I'm like, oh, shit. Damn. My bad. Fuck. I wasn't even paying attention to that being a woman. I thought that was Ricky fucking Morton. I'm like, God damn, dog. I'm falling off. My eyesight is getting worse and worse by the day. Shit. So that was my bad. That was my bad, dog. So, I love the way Ortiz sells, because his selling is hilarious. It's very humorous. Now, sometimes, you don't want to do all that, but Ortiz makes the match more interesting. I'm a big fan of Santana. Santana's physicality and his seriousness and his intensity in this match made it very interesting. I also love the aggressiveness of the two of them, because this is their shot. They never got a shot before. They're in the zone. Everybody else is fucking around, but Santana and Ortiz are two guys who said, hey, we the illest, we the best, this our first opportunity. We should have had a shot. So they taking it very, very seriously. And plus, I like the false finish on the Street Sweeper, because it was a very close pinfall, very close, and I appreciated that. Yeah, that was pretty good. And the Young Bucks won with a small package, which I thought was also very interesting. Very good choice for a finish, because it doesn't kill Santana and Ortiz, but it gets them out of the match. Right? So it's like, that's the good thing about roll-up finishes. It doesn't kill the opponent. You're not just getting hit with a finish and pinned in the middle of the ring. You always have a way of saying it was a fluke. You gave the right person who won, but it puts over the opponent. Like, that's a good thing to actually, like, sometimes you want to beat your opponents flat, other times you just kind of want to live to fight another day. And that's the small package. The small package gets you the victory, and you live to fight another day. Then, of course, the Inner Circle jumped them from behind, because of course not, because why not? And then Kenny Omega is apparently back from the school already. Well, I guess that was earlier in the day. So anyway, Omega and the Good Brother are just watching, and the commentary team's like, why is the club not out there? The club should be helping. Club, what are you doing? You gotta get out there and save them. Look at these guys. They're getting beat up. What are you gonna do? Club, help them, please. And they're still just like, go help. And the Good Brothers took like 4 minutes to get out there. So Brandon Cutler went out there. He tried to help, and he ended up getting himself slammed on the ramp. And the Good Brothers, basically casually walked to the ring, and the Inner Circle still powdered. And then Jericho went outside the ring to stand up to the Young Bucks' dad. I thought he was going to do something to him. He didn't do anything to him. He just he got pushed by him. And then they said, you're going to pay for that. So I'm guessing they're going to attack the Young Bucks' dad at some point. That ought to be fun. But this match was fine. I'm a big fan of Santana and Ortiz. The Young Bucks are what they are. I'm not a huge fan of the Young Bucks. They don't have the same match every time, but they have a shtick, and they didn't do a lot of shtick in this match, So that improved it dramatically. Is that a lot of their worst, the worst things that they do was tampered down a little bit. So Brandy decides to do a live gender reveal on Dynamite. She says Cody doesn't even know. They found out it's a girl. So that's good. Okay, cool. It didn't take up a lot of time. We got to see Brandy's little baby bump. Her face is whiter than ever, and but that's just general pregnant woman. So this was nice. I'm sure it was lovely. It's going to be a lovely situation. Whatever. Anyway, so FTR versus Matt and Mike Sydal, and this match was also butt fuckery. So Mike Sydal I've never seen before. Cody is on commentary, but we'll talk about everything he's talking about after we talk about the match. So Mike Sydal completely missed some top rope move he was trying to do. He jumps up to the top rope. He looks like he might have slipped, and then he completely overshot. What was it? Cash that he was supposed to be trying to hit. Missed him completely. And I just looked and I was like, man, you cannot be serious. You can't be serious. It seems like every fucking high flyer on this show botched. This is a new episode of AEW Dynamite. This is not some botchamania put together shit, right? They put this on for us to view, and of course the FTR wins just with the big rig, which is named after Brody Lee. So after the match, FTR grabbed the medical kit from the doctor, and they were going to cut off Mike's hair. They were going to cut Mike's hair. Then the lights go out. Very dramatic. The lights go out every week in AEW. But the lights go out, very dramatic. We get the mask in the ring with the green light. And of course the mask has holes in it when they cut the horns off. And I'm thinking to myself, is Luchasaurus about to come out here without a mask? And I thought to myself, that would be interesting. And then when the lights came back on and Jurassic Express was around the ring and he had a new mask on, I was like, fuck you. I feel gypped. And then the mask that he was wearing was not that much different from the mask that he was wearing. So it's not like a drastically different mask. Fuck you. Fuck. You could have took some time and did maybe do that with the lights and the mask and everything, and then next week you kind of do it again, and then you re-debut with a different Luchasaurus mask at Revolution or something like that. Because I'm pretty sure this team's going to wrestle at Revolution. Could have brought in a new mask or just not have a mask, but whatever, man. I felt gypped. So Cody was on commentary talking about how he's going to wrestle Shaq. And that Shaq, he says, oh, Shaq is big. He don't want to run circles around Shaq. Giant's a basketball player. I want to blow him up. I'm gonna blow him up. I'm like, okay. We already know Shaq doesn't know shit about wrestling. That that goes without saying. But the interesting thing is he talked about the Face of the Revolution ladder match. And soon as I heard 6 wrestlers in a match, I was like, oh, the Money in the Bank. Is this going to be a briefcase? So we'll talk about that in a moment. So he said 6 wrestlers for the TNT title match. I'm like, okay, so it's going to be for the TNT title. So the winner fights Darby Allin. I don't know when, I don't know where, I don't know any of those details. They said 3 people that are in it's going to be Penta, El Zero M, Cody, and Scorpio Sky. And I said, okay, that's a decent starting up. Cody's going to put himself in this match. I'm almost certain it's a ladder match. Cody doesn't have to get pinned and or submitted. So I can see Cody not winning this match. I think Scorpio Sky should win this match. I don't know who else is going to be in it. And I don't care. Scorpio Sky should win this match. I think that him kind of getting pushed to the side was a mistake. They could have had something with Scorpio Sky, especially back when he was, had his little short feud with Jericho. I think that he was on the upswing, and then they killed it a little too early. I don't know what his ceiling is. Can he be world champion? I don't know. Can he be just like a strong contender? Maybe. But I think that when it comes to black guys on the roster, I think that he's probably the best contender you got for, somebody who can be pushed and be seen and be, regularly seen on the show, and it won't feel like it's a complete and total tokenization. It don't feel like when you got somebody who's legitimately good on the screen, it doesn't feel like they're a token, you know. And I'm not saying that other people do. I'm just not saying that. I'm just saying like he's legitimately good enough to be in those positions. And I know his age is a problem, but we don't think about that when we talk about, you know, other people who are 36, 38, 40, somewhere near the main event and wrestling for titles and stuff like that. We don't have that problem. So I think that Scorpio Sky should win unless there's a legitimate reason why he wouldn't win this match. I don't see why you wouldn't. Like, he needs to be featured a lot more too. Like, you know, I think that he needs to be featured a little bit more. So Tully wasn't there because of the snow. And the Face of the Revolution match, as long as there's not a briefcase involved, it ought to be fine, you know. But this also just kind of means that, well, the TNT title probably won't be on the line at this show. If it is, who would he wrestle? Oh no, because Darby Allin is wrestling in that street fight. So no, it's not going to be. Okay, whatever. So then we get John Moxley's promo where he talks about Eddie Kingston always having to stick up his ass. Then he says that despite the fact that, you know, Kingston hates him, he's probably the only one that still cares about him. He says after tonight he focuses on New Japan, and after that his focus is back on Kenny Omega and the title. Like, all right, so we get Eddie Kingston, Butcher, Blade versus Lance Archer, John Moxley, and Phoenix. And a 6-man tag, of course, that broke down into everybody doing everything to everybody but Phoenix. Let's talk about Phoenix, because has he main evented a show yet where he didn't botch? This botch he did tonight looked legitimately dangerous. Archer is on the top rope. He's about to do the John Dardine walk. Phoenix jumps up there, is walking the top rope right next to Archer. He slips and falls. Because he slips and falls, he knocks Archer down. Archer kind of trying to make it look like he jumped. He's trying to make it look like he jumped. But he's really just falling on top of Blade and just flattened him. And I just looked at that shit and I was like, I hope he's okay. I hope he's okay. I watched it 3 times. Because I knew what Phoenix was about to do. You know, he's about to do his old walking on the top rope thing. But Archer is already walking on the top rope. And it was like, I don't get it. It was dumb. This was absolutely dumb, and it was dangerous. Because Archer is a big guy. You know, if any awkwardness could have seriously injured that guy. They need to really think about this kind of thing, man. That was a big yikes from me. And then this match did something else that was very odd. They had Lance Archer as the babyface in peril. The biggest guy in the match, not just the biggest guy on his team, but the biggest guy in the match, period, was the babyface in peril. Okay. And they did this so they can do the hot tag to Phoenix, who is more dynamic and who can, you know, work a faster style and do faster things. Which is, of course, good for the hot tag. But why are we putting Phoenix in that position and not putting Lance Archer in that position? Now, maybe they're trying to say, like, you just want to get Phoenix over. I'm like, okay, I guess. It's still, it didn't make any sense. It felt weird to me. It felt very weird. Because he's the smallest member of the team. Not only is he the smallest member, he's the smallest member in the match. And he comes in, he gets the hot tag, and he bumps everybody. And then of course, does all of his flips and everything. So I appreciated the Eddie Guerrero nod from Phoenix. I appreciated that. What I didn't appreciate was the whole Lance Archer choke slamming Phoenix onto Butcher and the Blade. I just don't see why it had to be that way. Don't see why it was necessary. Why didn't he just jump on them? But then this has made it even worse. So after Phoenix bumps these guys, he gets up and he holds them in place so that Lance Archer can do his rolling senton from the ring apron onto everybody, himself included. He held those guys there so that they can be pillows for a rolling senton, and he decided, oh, I'm just going to stay here too. He decided to eat a rolling senton for no reason. So, makes no sense. Makes no since. I was happy when Moxley pinned Kingston because I'm like, thank God this match is over. I cannot take anymore. I appreciate that they're trying to push Phoenix and put Phoenix in these positions, but Phoenix has to do something, man. He's a dynamic performer. I love Phoenix. He's great. But he works too fast, and because he works so fast, he ends up botching. And those breaks and fluidity really fucks everything up. Like it's Lucha. Like I said, his style is great, body control and everything. As long as everything goes perfectly, it's great. It's the same problem Rey Mysterio would have. Rey would have these excellent matches, and then you would see Rey slip off the top rope and fall, or he'd try to do the 619 and he'll slip off there, or he'll trip or something like that, and it becomes a whole bunch of you fucked up, super lazy, super sloppy shit. Like that's just kind of how it is, man. When you're a luchador, you cannot afford to be sloppy. You could hurt yourself, you could hurt somebody else, and it just makes for bad wrestling. You're better off doing ground-based things that you know how to do than going over the top rope, slipping, falling, or completely missing. And this guys were doing this shit all night. Bunch of guys slipping all over the place, because they're working too fast. But you can't tell anybody to slow down. High flyers every week, dropping each other on their heads, almost killing themselves, almost falling awkwardly on top of other people, working too fast. Slow the fuck down. So after the match, the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega beat up on Jon Moxley. Where did Jon Moxley partners go? I guess they got beat up by Eddie Kingston, Butcher, and the Blade, because I didn't see them anymore. So essentially, Kenny Omega basically said, "Oh yeah, you got a title rematch. I'll give you your rematch at Revolution, but I'm going to pick the stipulation." And he picked, what is this? An exploding barbed wire death match. And then Excalibur starts screaming about, "That's a match made famous by FVW or FMW, which is the promotion that Masato Tanaka came from." Masato Tanaka and Mike Awesome, I believe, which is, of course, ECW trash. Kenny Omega is going to work a exploding barbed wire death match. Kenny Omega is about to work a Wrestling Society X gimmick match. Whatever, I don't care. I don't care. I don't see how this is going to look. Does it make me want to see the show more or less? No. Just no. No. I don't care. This match is not the match I care about. This is a rematch of a rematch already. Of course, I don't think Moxley wins. I think Moxley loses. But I think Moxley just doing this for fun. And at this point, man, I don't know why, what's going on. Why would Kenny Omega choose this match? Now, obviously, he's probably going to choose this match because it gives Moxley the best chance of winning, and he wants to destroy Moxley forever, and he figures if he beat him in his own match type, then he won't come back anymore. But these matches, these exploding blah, blah, blahs, absolute butt fucking bullshit, right? Anything that has to do with explosions is bullshit, It's fucking bullshit, I fucking hate that stuff, man. That Wrestling Society X shit, man, that shit pissed me off so bad because of the fucking explosions. It's so fucking corny. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. And then just like FMW, I'm like, come on, man, nobody knows what that shit is. Like, I know it because I'm a nerd. The average person is gonna be like, what the fuck? And then you're gonna tell them, what you gonna tell them? Who wrestles there that they would know? Sabu? Who in the demo knows Sabu's from Sabu's prime? They probably seen him in a bald as fuck at one of these indie shows, but most people don't really know Sabu from Sabu's prime. They don't know Terry Funk from his hell. He was 50 when I was a kid. They didn't. They may have seen some ECW on the network where you had Joey Styles screaming about FMW and all that shit. But most people don't know nothing about that stuff, man. And then it also seems to fly in the face of Kenny Omega's best wrestler in the world gimmick, where he should want to have a wrestling match, you know. But I guess since they've already had the wrestling match, now they're going to do the fight. Whatever, who cares? So it is what it is. All right, thank you guys for listening. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Use the hashtag 3Count Commentaries to attract attention to the channel. I'd appreciate that. You like my commentary, like what I do, send me cash via Cash App. It will be in the comment section. And you guys have a good day. Thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah. Yeah.